level of abuse that you and others, I know, but received, something that you just have to accept.
I don't think we should ever accept that in golf.
Rory McIlroy just made it crystal clear where his loyalties lie for 2026, and the PGA Tour is not going to like this one bit. The Northern Irishman has officially confirmed he's skipping the Sentry, the first massive signature event of the PGA Tour season, to play the Dubai Invitational instead. And after what happened at Bethpage Black during the Ryder Cup, can you really blame him?
I think Rory's looking at the referee now, just asking people to settle down. Yeah, it's getting a little out of hand out here right now.
Isn't that nice to see, especially because this week some of the fans' behaviour has perhaps crossed the line in some people's opinion. What have you made of that?
Well, you got 50,000 people there that are really excited, and heck, you can go to a youth soccer game and get some people who say the wrong things. You know, what we tell the fans is, listen, booing at somebody doesn't make them play worse. Typically, it makes them play better. And when our American players have to control the crowds, that distracts them from playing.
I heard some guy who was like, Roy, you're not that good, and you said, I'm really effing good. And so
I am.
I know you are.
Really good.
Let's back up for a second, because what went down at that Ryder Cup was absolutely insane. We're talking about one of the darkest weekends in modern golf history. McIlroy didn't just face typical crowd noise, he faced a complete breakdown of basic human decency. Picture this, you're Rory McIlroy, one of the greatest golfers on the planet. You're playing at Bethpage Black in New York, and for 5 straight hours on Saturday, the crowd is launching F-bombs at you every 5 minutes.
How satisfying is it to turn around to someone and say, quote, shut the F up, and then stiff it to 2 feet?
Very satisfying.
They're screaming about your marriage. They're mocking your height. They're bringing up your worst career moments while you're trying to line up putts. One reporter actually counted over 30 F-bombs hurled at McIlroy in just the first 4 holes alone. 30 in 4 holes. The numbers for insults like "you suck" and reminders about his Pinehurst collapse became impossible to track. But here's where it gets even worse. The event's own master of ceremonies, a comedian named Heather McMahon, actually led the crowd in chanting explicit insults at McIlroy over the live microphone on the first tee. She literally stood there with the mic and got thousands of people to join in. She resigned the next day, but the damage was done. McIlroy's wife Erica was walking inside the ropes, supporting her husband like any spouse would. Someone threw a beer at her, an actual beer, launched through the air at a player's wife. Shane Lowry, who was partnered with McIlroy, later said the amount of abuse Erica received over 2 days was astonishing. The situation got so out of control that police officers with dogs were brought onto the course. State troopers lined the fairways. It looked more like a crime scene than a golf tournament. McIlroy joked afterward that he wished they had let the dogs off the leashes. That's not a joke you make unless things got really, really bad. At one point on Saturday, McIlroy had to step away from an eagle putt because someone screamed an explicit insult right as he was about to stroke it. He shook his head in what one reporter described as dazed resignation. Shane Lowry came over to comfort him. When the putt missed, the crowd erupted in mocking cheers. Think about that for a second. These weren't golf fans. Golf fans appreciate good shots from both sides. These were people who came specifically to tear someone down, and they succeeded in making one of the sport's biggest stars feel like he desperately wanted to be anywhere else. The narrow walkway between the second green and third tee became what reporters called a gauntlet. Fans positioned themselves strategically along the path, each taking their turn to inform McIlroy exactly how much he sucked as he walked within arm's reach. Multiple people, one after another, like they were waiting in line for their chance to heckle. Lowry, who's usually pretty calm, absolutely lost it at one point. He spun around mid-swing and started pointing furiously at a spectator who made crude comments about his weight right as he was hitting. His caddy actually had to physically hold him back from confronting fans. That's the level we're talking about here. Even some of the American players tried to help. Justin Thomas found himself in this weird position where he was trying to pump up the crowd to support Team USA while also trying to shush them so the Europeans could actually play golf. He admitted afterward that while he didn't think anyone's physical safety was in danger, words hurt too. But McIlroy wasn't just taking it. At one moment that went viral, he backed off a shot, turned to the crowd, and told them to shut the F up. Then he composed himself and stuck his approach shot to within 2 feet of the pin. He called it very satisfying afterward, and honestly, that might be the understatement of the year. Europe ended up winning the Ryder Cup in dramatic fashion. They pulled off a stunning victory on American soil despite everything thrown at them. Shane Lowry sank the clinching birdie putt on 18. The trophy was theirs, but even in victory, the whole experience left a bitter taste. After it was all over, McIlroy didn't hold back. He said golf should be held to a higher standard than what was seen at Bethpage. He pointed out that the sport has the ability to unite people and teach respect, but none of that was on display that week. He made it clear this shouldn't be what's acceptable at the Ryder Cup. The really telling part was when McIlroy talked about how the crowd shifted. Early in the week, when Team USA was competitive, the fans were supporting their team. But once America started losing badly, the vibe completely changed. Instead of cheering for American players, the crowd turned to targeting the Europeans. McIlroy said he barely heard any cheers for Scottie Scheffler on Sunday, but he heard constant shouts against himself. He even said if he were American, he'd be annoyed. Your home team is losing, and instead of rallying behind your guys, you're spending all your energy attacking the other team. That's not patriotism. That's just hostility for the sake of it. Now here's where this all connects to his 2026 schedule decision. McIlroy has confirmed he'll start his year at the Dubai Invitational on January 15th at Dubai Creek Resort. He'll then play the Hero Dubai Desert Classic the following week, an event he's won 4 times. These are back-to-back weeks in the United Arab Emirates, where he's always felt welcomed and respected. The Sentry, which is the PGA Tour's first signature event of the season, happens the week before Dubai. It's traditionally played by all the PGA Tour champions from the previous year. McIlroy absolutely qualifies. He won the Masters, the Players' Championship, and Pebble Beach this year, but he's choosing Dubai over Hawaii. And honestly, this isn't new. McIlroy hasn't played the Sentry since 2019. For several years now, he's preferred to get his season started on the DP World Tour instead of jumping straight into PGA Tour events. But after Bethpage, this decision feels different. It feels pointed. McIlroy has been open about trimming his PGA Tour commitments. He skipped the Memorial Tournament this year, didn't play the RBC Heritage right after his Masters win, and passed on other signature events. When asked about it, he said he'll always choose the schedule that best fits his life, his family, and opportunities outside of golf. But the Bethpage experience seems to have solidified something in his mind. Why would he rush to play in America when he can start his year somewhere that actually appreciates him? Dubai has always been good to McIlroy. He finished second to Tommy Fleetwood at the Dubai Invitational back in 2024. The fans there respect the game. The atmosphere is competitive, but not toxic. It's worth noting that McIlroy is expected to make his first PGA Tour appearance of 2026 at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am in late January, just like he did this year when he won the tournament. So he's not abandoning American golf completely, he's just being very selective about when and where he shows up. The bigger picture here is what this says about the state of golf fandom in America right now. The PGA Tour has pushed these signature events as must-see, must-play competitions. They've increased the prize money, they've made them exclusive, but if players like McIlroy are willing to skip them because the environment has become unbearable, what does that say? McIlroy made history earlier this year as the first reigning Masters champion to play in India. He's expanding his global presence. He's playing in Australia in December at Royal Melbourne. He's committed to the DP World Tour playoffs in November. His schedule is intentionally global, and after Bethpage, it's hard not to see that as a direct response to what he experienced on American soil. The golf world will be watching closely to see how many other top Europeans follow McIlroy's lead. If players start avoiding American events because of crowd behavior, that's a massive problem for the PGA Tour. They can offer all the prize money in the world, but if the experience is miserable, players will find somewhere else to tee it up. So when McIlroy steps onto the first tee at Dubai Creek Resort in January, it won't just be the start of his 2026 season. It'll be a statement about respect, about choosing environments where excellence is celebrated rather than attacked, and about remembering that golf is supposed to be a gentleman's game. After Bethpage, Rory McIlroy is making it clear. If you want him, you better act like you deserve him.